Hello darlings, how are you doing? I hope everyone is well. This is a recap of the last 2 weeks since my last video that was in preparation for the new moon that we had on the 19th of May. And we're going to be going over the flower moon we had the day before the coronation, the 5th, the eclipse, the full lunar eclipse that was in Alpha Omega. So Alpha Omega, Aries, Libra, Aries ruled by Mars, Libra ruled by Venus. And then we've got Aleph Tav, Aries and Taurus. And the sun is exalted in Aries and the moon is exalted in Taurus. So that makes the merging of Mars and Venus and sun and moon, which is the anima and the animus. So every man has within him his mother to get past, that female energy. Every man holds his hidden anima, his hidden female, his moon and his Venus. So for the man, we've got his moon and his Venus. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Taurus, the moon, is exalted. And then every woman has got her hidden masculine. So every woman has got to face her sun and her Mars. So Aries is ruled by Mars and the sun is exalted in Aries as well. So this is where we've had the flower moon, which was the name of the film that has won in Cannes, the day of the black moon. For the 19th, it was called Flower Moon, Killer of Flower Moon. We're going to go and look at it all. But everything that I was writing about, I didn't even know Johnny Depp was there. I've been talking to you for a long time about Taxi Driver. It's the same Martin Scorsese who did Taxi Driver, which was from 1976. It was the 76 Film Festival. There was a 7-minute clapping ovation for Killers of the Flower, for Johnny Depp in Jean de Barry, which is very interesting. We're going to be looking at it, but you've got the story of Jean de Barry, the prostitute, and the young Austrian Queen Marie Antoinette. Both were beheaded. That energy of the beginning of the revolution. And we've also got with Tina Turner dying. She was born in 1939, and we've got all this energy right now of the World War II, that energy as Uranus is about to go into Taurus from Aries. So all this Alpha Omega Cardinal and fixed cross, and really what's happening is that the moon, the female energy, Taurus, is taking on her masculine side. That was very much the role that Tina Turner was rolling, Proud Mary. This is the story of integrating the feminist, the woman who rose up against her husband, Ike. So here we've got the connection, Ike and Tina Turner, Ike Eisenhower, and we've got Laura Eisenhower, Magdalene with the David Icke, all the preparation of the Golden Dawn, the New Age that we're going into. So we're going to go and look again on Stellarium. So let's just look at right now. So the sun is in Taurus, coming up for this full moon, which we're going to have on the 4th of the 6th. So 46 chromosomes and the famous Beatles songs, when I'm 64. And this full moon is a strawberry moon because we're going to have the moon opposite Aldebaran right on Antares in the heart of Scorpio. And this is all about the 13th sign. The 13th sign, the moon has got 13 cycles, and it's all about everything that I see going on. I now truly just see it as a beautiful alchemical wheel, and people who aren't able to do the integration, they're just going through this alchemical process of being able to see. And those of us, you know, we're here on Earth to do this journey. There's no escaping it. We can't be released until we've done this journey. So I really see all people like Tina Turner. I think that maybe at the end of their life they know what's going on, but that was one big ritual. Her ex-husband gave her the name of Tina Turner. TT is 2020. We've seen that the Turkey president reigned for 20 years. Madeleine McCann has been missing for exactly 20 years. It's the TT. Tina Turner played in Mad Max. That's the MM. Mickey Mouse grew up to be a cow. Life on Mars. David Bowie, red hair. He sung Space Oddity, that red and white of the moon. So people who can't do this process are swayed into this golden dawn, which is, you know, people who haven't found this truth of astrology, they can't see the trickery of the golden dawn. But I think it's a necessary process until we are fully on this fixed and cardinal cross. There has to be the cleanup. You know, the sharks, they clean up the bottom of the sea, and there is this cleanup to see, to bring through all this beautiful energy, all these children who've got such high frequencies which are here, and to let those pass through which are ready, and to learn to really see that Jupiter is creating a new mini empire until we're fully through. And Lars and I are going to be making a video on Tuesday, which is purely me letting Lars talk and to show us all his information that he has on these cross changeovers. And he's got quite a lot to show us. I now send out newsletters for everyone who subscribes, so please go onto my site, subscribe, so you can get the newsletters. And this video will be available on my site at a small price. And we're still looking for 2 people to ask questions. It'll be about 2 hours long, 3 p.m. on Tuesday. So if anyone wants to join us. Okay, well, let's go to now, and we'll slowly get through the amount of stuff that I have to show you. I feel better about it only because I make blog posts all the time now, so that I can get all this information off. And once I let it go, then I tend to forget. So I need to, I've got all the information, we can go through it, but let's just look at what we've been through first, and then it will all make sense. So we've got the Sun in Taurus, and we're coming up for the 4th of June for the moon that will come. So the moon is currently in Leo, and we will have, let's have a look at it. So there we go, right on Antares. And at that point, we're going to have Venus. So Venus right now is right under Pollux, conjunct to Pollux. And this week, we had, on the 23rd, we had a conjunction with the moon and Venus. And we had this slither So the moon will meet up with Venus, the solar system's hottest planet and the second closest to the sun in the sky, on Tuesday, the 23rd of May. So this is all the night before the death of Tina Turner. The two celestial objects will make a close approach with the waxing crescent moon passing to the north of the scorching hot planet. At around the same time as the close approach, the moon and Venus will share a right ascension in an arrangement astronomers call a conjunction. Both the 4D moon and Venus will be in the constellation of Gemini during the conjunction. So let's go back. So there we have it, and we've got right on the sickle. So, you know, this is the hook. This is Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So we've got Mercury and Jupiter both in Aries. So I looked up the last time that they were both together was in 2012. And at that time, Harry, who is all this energy of Mars, I'm going to be showing you the chart of Harry and Tina. So the last time these guys were together, Harry was having an award, giving out an award, and he did a speech that was very acclaimed for the veterans. He was preparing the I Am Victus Games. So this full moon we've got coming up is the When I'm 64, the same album as Penny Lane, Magdalene Lane. This is the Mad Lane, is the Mad Wool. Lane, Len in French is Len. Lenin, the Lenin. And, you know, so Harry, we've now got this complete full change with Harry being, I've never seen such open slandering and bullying, the bullying that is now going on. I mean, how it's just ridiculous. I can't even listen to any of it, but it's as if they are really desensitizing people and bringing people into their camp, you know, and anybody that goes against the mainstream bullying. And that is all very much how they want this Taurus energy of this merging. This is the rulers of the mutable cross in high cardinal fire, and really bringing in that slandering and trick-or-treat energy. So Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, where we've got this conjunction and this slither of the waning moon after, let's have a look again at that black moon right there in Taurus. So 1 month of this energy of Taurus. And that was when we had the winner of Cannes as well for Killers of the Flower Moon. So we're going to have this When I'm 64 full moon, full strawberry moon coming up, which is all about the indigenous people. It's all about the indigenous people. That's what the film is about. This is really all about Mercury and Jupiter. Saturn is right now on top of the true air, the true North American, Canada people. And as you know, there is that 55 kilometers between Alaska and Russia, which makes Ra, or Canada, which makes the CR, the Cairo. It's that last 5-5. And Venus, yeah, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but these are all little things I think about. The lunar nodes, there is this 5-degree gap between the solar path and the lunar path, and the ascending and the descending nodes. So you've always got two upward horseshoes to downward horseshoes, and this 5-degree gap between the path of the sun and the Earth satellite, the moon. So that is very interesting. And the orbit of Venus, there is always this 50 days, which is exactly like the vision of a horse. Horse vision blinds. Horse vision blinds. So the horse has always got this blind spot, which is very much like that 5-degree. And then of course this is, it's like the horseshoe. The Milky Way is opening and closing like a horseshoe. It's continually breathing. So we had that black moon, and then before that we had on the Alpha Omega, we had the sun in Aries, and Prince Charles, he's got his moon right there, and we had the moon in Libra where Prince Charles has got his sun. So that was the flower moon. Then we had the new moon, the black moon there, and now we're gonna have the full moon on the 4th, and that is going to be bang on Aldebaran. Bang. Let's get the moon back onto Antares. Right there. So we go back to now, just to see where everything is. So at the moment we've got Mars, the ruler of where Jupiter and Mercury, no, I don't want that. Yeah, where we've got Jupiter and Mercury. So Mars in Cancer, in detriment. This is exactly what they want. This energy of the alpha male submerged by female emotions, as the tricksters are in Aries. And then we've got the moon in Leo at the moment, and we've got Neptune, as you know, in Pisces, and Uranus is right here with the head of the snake getting ready to come into Aries, and Chiron is ending a long period in Pisces, and that is going to close from 1977. So this is all this build up with 7-6. 7-6, we had, I was saying, 7-minute ovation for Johnny Depp's film, and this virgin Marie Antoinette avec the prostitute, the French prostitute Jean de Barry, and that this relationship very much like Mary, the two Marys, Mary Queen of Scots and Queen Elizabeth, the Proud Mary, famous song of Tina Turner. And then there was a 9-minute ovation for Killers of the Flower Moon. So that's your 79. We're at the 76th Cannes Festival. Tina Turner's house is worth 76 million, and we've got the famous seals, the famous 7th seal and the 6th seal. So death, 6th seal, and eternity, 7th seal. So these guys have not been here together. They don't meet that often in Aries. Jupiter's now here for a year, but to meet his friend Mercury in high Cardinal Aries is a big deal, with Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, where we're going to have this full moon. We'll have the moon in Scorpio. So those two energies, this is, you know, Kali, this is the 69, this is the destruction, the energy of that flood, the womb. All the water signs are talking about the female fertility, the water, and this is you know, it's all about the sun. Cat on a hot tin roof is about the moon, the ruler, the male taking over that deadly mother energy. So Jupiter, Europe. Tina Turner was married to a German man who plays very much the empire of Europe, and Tina Turner has really played those, you know, from all the phases of the triple goddesses, from Virgo to the mother Taurus. She was a Taurus. She was Scorpio. Exactly. So I'm going to show you exactly where this full moon is. She has a reverse, just like Prince Charles has a reverse on that Aries Libra, where we had the flower full moon. Now we've got Tina Turner, who's got her sun in Scorpio, exactly where the moon will be, and she has her moon on Aldebaran, exalted moon in Taurus. And Prince Charles had his moon, he has his moon in Aries. So this is exactly, they want to make that move from the exalted moon energy in Taurus to Aries, and that can be done now with Mars in Cancer. And for this next full moon, Mars will still be there. So Mars will still be in Cancer for this full moon. So we're going to go and have a look at all this because it's all explained in my posts. Okay, let's start from the latest post and go backwards. But you'll see as we go backwards that I was actually talking about all the stuff about to come before it happened, and I'm just trying to put the story together. So Strawberry Fields full moon coming up on the 4th on Antares, heart of Scorpio, the lily. So I've shown you in older, we've got in the claw of Scorpio the opening of that lotus, the lily, and the two actors for Killers of the Flower Moon is Leo and Lily, LL 77, the two corners. So it's an important next date. So it's what we're covering. Tina Turner's death yesterday, as moon was conjunct Mars in Cancer, is the essence of making the moon Mars energy, MM. I will cover Tina's chart too. So 1939 to 2023 was, and she was exactly on a Uranus return. So Tin, T in Tina, Ina, Inanna, the T, Tin. This is Jupiter, Tin. And we saw last time that Jupiter is that energy of tin. There's the moon, taking the moon, Jupiter, Sagittarius wanting to merge with Capricorn, all the earth and all the fire signs merging. Tin, tin. So Martin, the free Martinism, making those cows into twins. Free martyr, I mean, I've been talking about this for ages and ages. You can read that. So when the hormones are mixed, every twin develops with characteristics of the other sex. The male exhibit only reduced fertility while the female is completely infertile. So this is very much what is happening. And I think that, you know, to help people to alchemically become above the belt and closing a cycle, it's part of the process before we can go on to the true merging of the wheel. I see why, even, you know, we're on Earth, so we have to live these experiences until we can really find the truth and get out of the belief programs of Jupiter. So again, the red-headed Bowie, is from his sitting in a tin can. Argentina, Maradona, the the bull, the moon, this energy. Argent is silver, Tina, silver Tina. POLO, it's this moon. Horses, there you've got the 111, the 777, the 3 POLO players, and this last phase of the moon, Maradona, and holding the gold cup. So the moon, Argent, and the gold, and he did that with his one hand. He scored the goal with one hand, the hidden hand. So, and then you've got the Messiah, gold and silver, cat on a hot tin roof. Interesting, the yellow and black. And this egg is just very much the sun and the moon energy. I always talk about it as Jupiter taking this, as taking it's the pituitary, the pineal gland, it's the moon, it's the egg. You've got that even shows us the eclipse of a solar eclipse, when the sun and the moon emerged on a dark moon, on a new moon, and this tin. So this is about, it's the 2020 vision, the 2 coins. Okay, you can see that. And there they've put tin without the A. They've got her right there with the tin. So this is Tina's charts. Tina has got the moon right on Aldebaran and the sun right on Scorpio and Mercury retrograde. So she lost both her sons. Mercury is her as a child and her children. In this 4th house, she's rising Cancer. She's written a lot of books, memoirs, that is Cancer. And she's got Uranus, so for her death, she was having an exact Uranus return. She's born in 1939, and this is exactly where Uranus was before the opening of World War II. So it's all very, very symbolic. She's got her Saturn, we'd have to check on Stellarium, it's retrograde, so maybe it's coming back from Aries, but we could only really see that. She's got this big Jupiter, and of course she's got Mars in Aquarius, and Saturn was right on top of her Mars, opening her 8th door. But this was her very rebel, non-conformist, you know, and her big love of the entertainment, this axis of Aquarius. And then the moon in the 10th house, and Uranus, exceptional, and bringing pleasure to the people. The moon being that big Taurus mother for the people. So anything, I'm sure there's loads of other things, but I have to try and just think about so much. So, and all that international traveling, Venus in Sagittarius, falling in love with a man from another land. Right, so again, 46, when I'm 64, each cell in the human body has 23 pairs of chromosomes, 46 total. Half come from the mother, half from the father. 2 of the chromosomes, X and Y, determine your sex as male or female when you were born. So this is very much our generations, the X, Y, and this Z generation. And, you know, it's for us to find that androgynous energy, to find our anima and animus. So this is the full moon coming up. We're going to have, here we go, I've got it right like this, with Taurus over rising. So we've got the sun right on Aldebaran, the moon right on Scorpio. We've got Venus, the ruler of Taurus, then in Cancer. Is it really going to be in Cancer? Yep, so Venus will have just, and we've got War and Peace in Cancer, in high cardinal Cancer. And we've got Pluto retrograding opposites and Pluto is going to enter on 7/7, the 7th of July. He's going to get back to Sagittarius, and there's a big thing going on 7/11. Let's have a look. 7/11, I've spoken about it. I'm just trying to remember. We're going to have Mars on Regulus and Venus. We're going to have Mars and Venus in Leo, Mercury in Cancer, Sun right on Sirius, and we've got this conjunction of Moon and Jupiter in Aries. So it's going to be the other way around. We're going to have the Moon in Aries and Mars, and this is Harry. You'll see his chart. He's Aries and Leo. Everyone thinks he's Virgo, but he's Leo on the correct. So this is going to be something big with Harry, with this full moon in Scorpio. All this energy of trying to bring up people who aren't healed, that revenge energy. I see it. I kind of avoid people who are still on that frequency, but I have noticed that there are some, people who are really dealing with this energy. And so something big happening on 7/11, and where will Pluto will have just got back to Sagittarius. There, so on Capricorn, he moves on that 7/7 from Capricorn back to Sagittarius, and this is really the last hit for Jupiter to make this merging power that he wants between Europe and North America. And this is that closing of these, I've got so many remember Scorpio, this is this full moon, it's Europe, and we've got, I think I just put, because I have done a whole post about that 55 kilometers between Alaska and Russia. But here you see they want to make this tunnel, the Bering Strait between Siberia and Alaska here. So they need Russia, they need this area to be able to come through, and this, this film that's just come out about the indigenous people, bringing everybody, merging with Europe and America here. So for this full moon, we're also going to have Uranus bang next to Mercury with this retrograde conjunct. So that was what we had on the 23rd of May, just before the day that Tina died. Up to Earth, evil twin. And there we've got Venus right on the sickle, and in Cancer, Mars and the moon. The evil twin, the boxer, the Lord of the Rings, the boxing ring. Yeah, they also want to bring up this energy in the rebellious child. So Harry is playing very much that energy. It's the hook. So then I saw Uno. Uno's always bang on with everything, and I'd done this article a few days ago, and I added this clip from his video, which you can go and see. So this is the strawberry supermoon on the fall, symbolizes abundance, prosperity. It also represents the blooming flowers. So don't forget, this is all about the rising of the fertility gods, and this energy of Antares, Mars, the masculine energy, gives us this strawberry moon. So according to the Farmer's Almanac, it's where I live, and where I am is the capital of Armagnac. Almanac. The name comes from the Algonquin Native American tribe in the northeastern US and eastern Canada. The moon doesn't have a strawberry hue. In fact, the name refers to the region's strawberry harvesting season, and also from Antares, which is a red star. So here you see that this is almost really all about this moon coming up. I really think we're coming to a boom date. You know, even if it's not something that manifests physically, materially, it's really something enormous happening within all of us. So there is that red cherry, that red strawberry when she comes back in Picnic at Hanging Rock. We're coming on to this is Taurus, this is Egypt. We even see with Tina, so this little thing here about Tina, she's from Brownsville, the Proud Mary, they make sure they put that up there. She lived with her German music. Has noted that there was ivy snaking up the walls. Ivy. They put that on purpose as well. And Larry King, I noticed something. Yes. A framed rendering of Turner as an Egyptian queen. So, you know, this is really Taurus, the age of Taurus, Egypt. And we are back to black with Pluto in Capricorn in Earth. Okay, we're going to try and just skim through articles so you get the whole story. On the Beatles, Tess, D'Urberville, Tesla, Uber, LA Woman, Ville, Tesla, Elon Musk. Tess is testosterone, the male sex hormone that is made in the testicles. Testosterone hormone levels are important to normal male sexual development and functions. Tess, it's the masculinization, the strawberry. So the triple goddesses, the reversed pentagram, La Vache qui rit, the cow that jumped over the moon, Taurus being made masculine. We've got that red bull, Instagram, stag, making the cow into a bull, the deer into a stag, bringing to the men this maternal energy, the moon, the bull, the pregnancy, the mother. When I'm 64, so this is the date of this moon, a reminder of Ophiuchus, 13th sign, kills Scorpio. The 13th constellation in the night sky is associated with the end of time in the book. The great alignment will be when the sun rises with perfect center of the galactic center. So you can read that in the legends of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. The Sage Perilous was the vacant 13th seat at the table that was reserved by Merlin for the knight who would one day be successful in the quest for the Holy Grail. The English word siège originally meant seat or throne, from the Old French siège, modern French siège. The use of the term siège to describe a prolonged military assault comes from the conception of an army sitting down before a fortress. The siege, so a siege, it comes from the word the seat. Perilous was so strictly reserved that it was fatal to anyone who sat in it that was unprepared or incapable of the sacred spiritual quest to which it led. Considered the highest and most difficult to advance from a knight of the Round Table to become a knight of the Grail. So there we've got Merlin with the moon, And in this film, Jean de Barry, what's this? Jean de Barry, they have this incredible shot of the dinner table, I wonder if we could see it here. And it's all very lunar. It's all very lunar, just like the coronation. This white, this lunar energy, and I think we might see up there. Look at that. Look at that egg. That. Oh, so there they are. They're all sitting around that moon. Up that big there. Oh, yeah, I'm not very good at stopping it at the right moment. Oh. Anyway. And interesting, this film comes out after, well, you'll see, you'll get everything when you see the pictures. So again, this is that Michelangelo painting, and this is the Jupiter finger. It's the two index fingers of Jupiter. So ET just represents indigenous people, because they've westernized all the world, so people don't have any connection to nature anymore. And if you don't know how to merge within you the West and the East energy, and you know, this is the meeting. This is between Russia and Canada. So the 13th apostle in the Christian tradition is Paul. This is the Argentina, Polo, Pierre, Paul, Europe, Peter, Paul, Asia, who is aligned to the community of 12 after Matthias has been chosen to replace Judas. Judas, the kiss of Judas, at which time the flaming tongues of the Pentecost descend. So we're on the Pentecost weekend now. Paul says of his calling by the Christ, which is described in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 9. And last of all, he was seen of me also, as of one born out of dual time. So here we've got this gap between Scorpio and Sagittarius, the galactic gap, and which is also between Gemini and Taurus, which is that free Martin energy. Sagittarius merging with Capricorn, and here that Mars coming into Taurus and making this green man, giving the energy from Odin, Orion up here to Ophiuchus, the snake charmer. In a traditional definition, it takes 13 witches to complete a coven, though this idea is much disputed in contemporary culture. There can sometimes be 13 full or new moons in one solar year, and in the indigenous traditions of the people of North America, the 13 moons on Turtle's back reveal the harmony of life between human beings and the natural world, with the changing names of Grandmother Moon. And there's Ophiuchus, we've got red and yellow. This is this Jacques we've got Asia yellow, America red, Taurus, and killing this line. This is exactly this full moon line that we've got, holding the snake, taking the fertility, and killing Scorpio with his foot. And finally, in the zodiac, the 13th hidden member is Ophiuchus, made famous a few years ago by Paul Knuckle, director of the Minnesota Planetarium Society, who pointed out that the sun appears to move through the foot region of the constellation Ophiuchus for several of the weeks in the calendar that astrologers usually assign to Scorpio. So there, this killing of Scorpio, galactic center gap, and this crowning going on now. Milky Way, the Milky Way, Philosopher's Stone, the merging of, this is the lunar nodes and Earth, Europe. So we'll just go through the pictures and I'll think of things, and you're able to see it all now. So remember, again, 5-5, the longitude latitude of the 2021 G7 in Carbis Bay, CB 32 is that it's the horns of Pan, of Uranus, of Bacchus. Yes, this is all very much Apollo and Dionysus, the mature the senator of maturity, Chiron, and all the wild senators, those who can be in a human body, the wounded healer, Chiron, and heal themselves, and to lose the bestial, the animal. This is that 50 years of Pink Floyd where material flesh meets spirits. So that leg, this is all the home of Napoleon, Cornwall, Duchess of Cornwall. This is before they became king and queen, Camilla and Charles. And this is Napoleon's hangout as well. So Harry, and this very big picture at the Invictus I Am Games. So this is about the Antares star. He's a rival of Mars, which means anti-Ares. Means anti-Ares. So the Aryan people, against again the whites. The whites are the big baddies now. They will have to the energy is to try and turn people against the big division is going on. I think this film of Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, is really about bringing up people's anger against what happened, which is all correct and right, but at the same time they want to bring up that energy as we go. Uranus is at exactly where it was in 1939, that war and peace energy before they give us their closing into the golden dawn. So Antares is a violent character and is credited with being significant for a violent death, either in battle or by the process of law. On the other hand, danger may come about by fire, weapons, or machinery. And there we've got full moon. What is Antares? There's the red giant that belongs to the constellation of ScorpiO. So the Madeleine, Mad Wool, Lane, Lenin, Penny Lane, lanes, sheep, wool in French, and the name Madeleine is of Greek and English origin and means high tower. It is the English variation of Magdalene and sometimes can mean woman from Magdala. The Madeleine in Paris Atrium is the home of the Church of Sainte Marie Madeleine. So, look at this. So you've got the two Madeleine, you've got the cemetery, and you've got the Élysée Palace. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pillars. So this is your Madeleine. Look at this. And you've got the cemetery there as well. I mean, that is very Olympus Greek, with all the pillars. Madeleine is also a cemetery in Paris. Madeleine Cemetery is a former cemetery in the 8th arrondissement of Paris and was one of the 4 cemeteries used to dispose of the corpses of guillotine victims during the French Revolution. The cemetery was named after Mary Magdalene, known in French as Saint Madeleine. The Madeleine or Petite Madeleine is a traditional small cake from Commercy and Liverdun, 2 communes of the Lorraine. Lor, gold, N is the N, gold, N, North Polaris. So here we've got, and there's the dome, and Mary Magdalene with Jesus, and the famous cemetery, all the skulls, Madeleine, and this is the Madeleine sponge cake with the Compostelle Saint-Jacques and Venus, Aphrodite coming up through this. So Venus, you know, the seductive, sultry Venus is being brought into this Taurus, into you know, making her, she's masculine. This is masculine, bringing this energy of the evil, as they said themselves, evil Venus. When we just saw the moon meets Venus, snuggle up to Earth's evil twin. Okay, so Mary Magdalene is often pictured with a skull because she lives in every skull. Magdalene is amygdala. Located deep in the reptilian brain, the amygdala detects danger or emotion associated with past experiences from childhood or past lives that were stamped within the brain as being dangerous or emotionally significant. The amygdala, named similarly to Magdalene, handles our emotions and triggers in us the flight or fight response, just as it did in caveman days. Past traumas, emotional memories, and barriers to our deepest fulfillments and healings are stored in the amygdala, which keep playing out in vicious cycles of reaction. This needs healing. So that's exactly what I mean. People who don't have that healing are being pushed to face the worst demons within themselves. And, you know, this passage of the Corona CV was really a preparation for this, the Corona. So it's part of this canary here, the can, the tin, the can, the tin, and here, the medulla. So this is we had that black moon on Medusa. This is all about activating people who don't have the proper pituitary, pineal, milk and honey, merging and bringing up, you know, all the remaining unconscious beast energies hidden within man and woman. So you can read all that. It's all about, you know, it affects the feminine part of your brain that holds memories and feelings of having separated from the masculine qualities of strength, courage, and power. So, you know, women, this is really, they're letting us loose. That's how I see it. They're letting us loose, and, you know, may the best person win. Are we as a collective going to be able to overcome and to bring back that true essence, that, you know, to merge individually our male and female, our anima and animus? So you can read that. It's very, very important. That's why I put it on. The amygdala is the heart chakra of the brain. When it opens, the whole brain starts to become healed as the light and love radiates from the amygdala to the other brain centers. It governs heart wisdom, the love brain, and emotional intelligence. Tina Turner died of gut cancer. You know, I don't care who these people are, if they're actors or not actors. I'm interested in the archetypes that they're showing us. So everything is done to subconsciously trigger us. So that gut-heart connection, the gut is Virgo. It is connected to the expression in the present moment in a responsive way to precisely what is occurring. The amygdala is part of the portal to the feminine entrance to the third eye, found at the back of the brain. When it opens, the third eye starts to open up softly. Essential oils such as rose, amber, frankincense and myrrh help to stimulate and soothe the amygdala. Regarding the new black moon we had 19th of May on AlgOL Medusa Akka, the Caput Medusae sign refers to development venosus anomalies. So here, look, this looks just like a horseshoe. The brain, this area here. And caput is the capot, it's the cap. Again, it's this head, it's the cap, it's the Capricorn, the Joker wears a cape. Only the fool can find his cap. Is the Latin for head, and the sign literally translates as head of Medusa. The appearance is reminiscent of the hair of Medusa, one of the three Gorgons of Greek mythology. The Gorgons had venomous snakes for hair, and their countenance was said to be so terrifying that anyone who looked upon them was literally turned to stone. So if you haven't faced your fears, you haven't, you know, pushed through to make this alchemical journey, to be a healer, to be able to have the humor and to remove yourself, to be able to be in exile and to have this detachment from the circus. Medusa was encountered and beheaded by the Greek demigod hero Perseus. So we covered that last time. I like this picture, the four phases, the three goddesses, and they've got one always under the horizon with her eyes on, showing us that the two breasts are the two eyes on. And the philosopher's stone is when you find that opening in the feminine portal. That's why the moon is exalted in Taurus. And then you are worthy to come through to the merging of Capricorn and Aquarius. Tina Turner, simply the B East, MM, Mad Max, MM is 1313, that makes 26, the 8. And BB is just two 13s next to each other. And BB is 22, and TT is 2020, again 22. And if you put the 2 and the 2 front to back, you've got that heart, you've got the heart passage. I just jumped to check that Mercury and Jupiter in 2012, and I did look, but the exact date was when Harry did that speech, but we'll see that in pictures afterwards, and we'll come back to where we were. So again, this is what I've just been over, Uranus. So it's an exact cycle of Uranus, the 84 years. So we saw that Uranus exactly on her Uranus for her death. And then at the same time, we had shelling of Manila. The Soviet Union conducted a false flag operation by shelling the Russian village of Manila near the Finnish border and blaming the attack on Finland. So that's her. And the World War was during 39 and 45. So we've got this orange and black. Yeah, she was a Buddha, Tina. So we've really got this marriage again of Jupiter, orange, Asia. We've got America, Asia, Europe. She goes to live. Taurus is very much European energy. So she's got this, I just see that orange, but you know, it's this yellow and black. So you've got Ike, Turner, we've got Eisenhower, Charles de Gaulle and Eisenhower very much now. We've got Charles de Gaulle means Wales, Gaul is Gaulois, Welsh. So Prince of Wales, Gal. And there's Dwight. And we've got Proud Mary, Icon Tina Turner, and here we've got this High Priestess passage, The High Priestess sits between the temples. Between the temples, the Joaz and Jacqueline, the Boaz and Jacqueline, that's what Jean de Barry is all about. JBBJ, the Boaz, which lady is the Virgin. You got the two women, the Austrian Virgin and the French whore, two sides of Proud Mary. Prude, dear Prudence, this is when she's good, she's very, very good. When she's bad, she's horrid. Which one are you going to activate? And there we've got they've put a very small, the Saturn finger, but you've got the true closing of Saturn and Jupiter through that passage, and there she is. She's got the moon, all three phases of the moon, the two crescent moons, the full moon, the dark side of the moon. You've got the yellow and the red. You've got Mercury rising, Mercury, the Christos oil between the Bay and the Jean de Barry, and that's why they show us those two sides. And both films were directed Marie Antoinette by Sofia Coppola, and my one, Milky Way, MW, has directed Jean de Barry. So again, two very lovely examples of how to properly merge. They're both, you know, very strong, clever, and this is all part of Johnny Depp renouncing Hollywood and coming to France. He's coming. He's saying, you know, Hollywood, America's over. And he's trying to pull people into this European energy, the European. Right, so there we've got, interesting, I don't know who this Rodriguez guy is, but we've got South America and North America, and the English guy in the middle, Ike Eisenhower. So that was all preparation from 2012 to now. They were very big in 2012. So the big boom, dynamite, taking back my name, the godmother. I think this was this is just a joke on Marlon Brando, but it's exactly again what's happening, that merging of the real grandmother Capricorn. And I think it's Martin Soros was he the director of that? Anyway, we'll see that. It's all in the articles. So there's 22. There is the head with, this is in Biarritz. This is I always talk about the jellyfish, the dome, the gut, the jellyfish, but the jellyfish is also our head and our nervous system, as the sapin, the Christmas tree. It's our body, it's our nervous system. And there again, the medulla, pituitary gland, the pineal gland, and this very important center bit of the canary birds, which is the amygdala. So here we've got the Diana, the hunter, Diana, and she's got the silver and the white hair, and she's now the dark side of the moon, back to black. Got the crescent facing up, Diana, and this is, there are many articles that I did about my trip to New Zealand. I've got 15 articles that I've done in the past month, and I didn't really share the first ones, which was really bringing out a lot about my experience in New Zealand. So Mary Magdalene, Mad Max, this is really this period of people who haven't tamed their flights instincts, their unhealed traumas. Thunderdome, and there is the canary and the adder, the Canada, the tin. You know, are you able to merge and to come out of, you know, to get rid of the armor? And the flower moon was on the 5th of May. Okay, this is what I wrote about Jupiter and Mercury. So I said to you, well, I said in my last week news post that this was fire. This was so big, Jupiter coming in, and we had all the fires. We're going to come to it. I'll show you a little sneaky. Which one is this? I've got so many. This is the flower moon one. Yeah, Allumer le Feu. I called that article because Johnny Hallyday, a French singer, player on Johnny Depp. I didn't even know Johnny Depp was there yet. And they were telling us, Allumer le Feu. Allumer le Feu, where is he? He'll be this, yeah. You do just have to go and see all my articles because I've organized all my thinking in these pictures. Jean de Barry, barium, 56. Okay. I'll just see if I find, because there, Allumer le Feu. That was the first thing I thought of when Jupiter entered, and we've got all the fires. But we're going to come to that because the fires are started in the same area that King Charles, Prince Charles went to with the whole royal family. We'll come to that. So, Jupiter and Mercury, rulers of the mutable skull and bone cross, 322223. So, C, V, V, C, normally but not always meet every 12 years in a new sign, as Jupiter takes 12 years to do a cycle and spends 1 year in each sign, give or take, depending on his retro movement. The last time Jupiter-Mercury met in high cardinal fire, Aries, Harry, Ra, Russia, Alaska, was in 2012, as Pluto was in mutable fire, Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. That was in 2012, as Harry received a humanitarian award for his work with veterans. Harry was singled out to receive a humanitarian award for his continued support of wounded veterans, which he was presented with by former Secretary of State Colin Powell during a ceremony in Washington, D.C., descendant. Also in 2012, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee year, he set off on his own debut solo tour, representing his grandmother in the 4 countries. 4 hours long is this film of the flower moon. He visited at the relatively young age of 27, but the tour was an unequivocal success. Now 12 years later, and Harry is being bull-eyed, especially over the car chase and the taxi driver. So I was talking all about Taxi Driver, and then we had the big taxi driver you'll see in my articles. Pluto had entered Capricorn after spending 16 years in Sagittarius, but Pluto is retro back towards Sagittarius now, just as in 2012, and adding sparkle to the trick-or-treat boys, Jupiter and Mercury in fire yellow when taxi, so Yellow Submarine, we all live in a yellow, all from the same album. Strawberry Fields, Penny Lane, The Beatles, When I'm 64. The beetle is your brain, the scarab beetle, or just rolling dung. Egypt, it's all about Egypt, it's all about Taurus, back to black. Tina's born in Brownsville, the brown Paddington Bear, Paddington Brown. When Taxi Driver came out, Jupiter was in Aries, and as Mercury left Aries, they both moved into Black Earth Taurus, the B yellow black. So Taxi Driver, Gemini, the film Taxi Driver came out in 1976. Director Martin Scorsese wins the Palme d'Or, so he won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Tintin. I always tell you about Toulouse-Lautrec and the Can dancers. Killers of the Flower Moon, as we had a new black moon. 1979 to 2023 is 76 years later. So it's the 79th. So yeah, we just had that 7-minute ovation, 9-minute ovation, and it's the gold elements. So 79, 76, taxi driver, 1976, when Jupiter was also in Aries. There is a lot more to say. Full moon coming up on the 4th. When I am, Ram, Aries, 64, Invictus Games, moon in detriment in Scorpio on Antares. So this is everything I've just already said to you. So this is Harry's chart. And we see he's got moon in Aries. And he's got the sun in Leo and Mercury in Leo. So, you know, the Lion King, and we've got Mars. So he's also got right on this Aldebaran Antares opposition, where we're going to have the full moon. That is going to be on his Uranus. So expect they're really building up to some big story, and this energy of vengeance and anger, is this going to come from his wife or from Meghan Markle, Jupiter as well in Sagittarius. So all that fire energy, it looks like he's getting ready to bring a big revenge with this blow up of this bullying that's going on. So that famous boom, this is a famous French film which is called The Party. In French is a boom, boom. This is Basil Brush, BB22, the bullseye, the red fox, Jupiter. And there was a film as well called The Boom with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. He is famous for his boom boom. He says boom boom all the time, and there's 79 gold. This always the bee, the black and yellow. We just had Angelina Jolie. We'll come to this. So much to show you here. This is holding that earth, looking like the moon. He always does the hidden hand bit with his hand as well. Lenny Kravitz, Mr. Cab Driver, same colors as the Ike album, Ike Turner, the yellow and black. And here's the taxi driver. There's another, this one he's folding hands, the other one he's got one hand thing going on. The T, they only showed 2 taxi driver pictures, and we've got F5F, so 56, F is 6, 32. Again, that 56 years, the 56 years that Pluto was in Cetus, the subconscious mind in the Victoria era. And the date of the coronation of the king, the 6th, the May the sex be with you. And here is the killers of the flower moon, and we've got this fire, life on Mars, this fire energy, the fire solar with the moon, and this big T on the compass. I do know what that is, and I've spoken about that before, but I can't remember right now. So Robert De Niro and Lily and Leo. 76, we've got the 3 phases of the moon, the feather, and this was him doing his tour the 12 years before, when the last time Jupiter and Mercury were together in Aries to make the pan. We've got the green, black and yellow. You know, in this picture of Europe, of Scorpio, I think it's here. Yep. The green man, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and the green man in the middle. So merging Sagittarius, Capricorn, yellow, black, and the green. Okay, come back down. So there's when I'm 64, and we've got 50, the hidden hands. Taxi driver, Jodie Foster, jellyfish. And he's crazy, he's a madman. He's the most scary type of madman, pervert, totally unhealed female energy. And again, the older man, Sagittarius, ascending Jupiter with the young girl. Then we had on May the 20th, also as the flower moon 1, and for the black moon, we've got Angelina coming back for the World Bee Day to help and protect bees. So this is just milk and honey, pineal and pituitary glands merging. So I just do a thing on, again, high five, beehive, mind, staying alive, BG, BGs, BFG, the big French giants. And I even put TT before I knew about the Tina Turner TT 2020-22, and the 1313 is the MM, and that is Brigitte Bardot. They mean here Betty Blue, Buffalo Bill, Back to Black. It's the 22 BB, it's the passage. This is the closed gates. So Mercury, Quicksilver rising, not Jupiter, boiling bloods. She did this film, The Land of Blood and Honey. So it's not blood and honey, it's milk and honey. It's not boiling blood. Jupiter rules the blood in Sagittarius. High Priestess Virgo guards the temples. She's a sacred virginity when women are no longer flat on the horizon. With their legs open, they can get their temples upright. Horizon, the correct closing is possible. Blood and honey is Jupiter and Mercury. Milk and honey is closure of the sun and the moon. Blood, Jupiter, Sagittarius, fire, 9th house. Honey, Mercury, Virgo, Earth, 6th house. So you see how they make that Cancer 69 to merge black and yellow, Sagittarius and Virgo, which is very much what's going on with Jupiter and Mercury in the fire of High Cardinal Aries. And we've got Mercury, we've got the ruler of we've got Mars, the ruler of Aries, in Cancer, the true 69. So can you make 96, Capricorn? Or, you know, you're still healing. Jupiter and Mercury is still on this duality, finding your sway until you can stand up straight. 3 Gemini, 6 Virgo, 9 Sagittarius. And you've got the summer solstice, which is the 3 earth signs, 2 Taurus, 6 Virgo, and 10 Capricorn is 261, is the 21st of the 6th. Moon, silver, Cancer, 69, water, milk, pituitary gland, sun, gold, Leo, fire, honey, pineal gland. So there is all about Angelina Jolie, The Land of Blood and Honey, Bosnia, 2011. So that was just when Jupiter actually entered. That's 12 years ago. He entered in 2011. He entered Aries. So so we did have no, that's Venus, there's Mercury, there's Jupiter. So he's in Aries already. He entered in 2011. So this is all that connection from then till now. And this is that blood on the moon. blood on the moon, and exactly what with the Bosnian War, we're living the East. It's the East. It's coming to the East. West Taurus, East Scorpio. And there again, that film, Jupiter Ascending, the land of blood and honey. And there we've got the girl with the bees, Jupiter. So you can read that. He's expansion, he's benevolent, he's good luck, he's success. He gives you all your flesh. And look, we've got, well, we'll see in a second, that's the 2442. But if you overdo, it's indulgence, oversight, overconfidence, prodigal, pushy, wasteful, extravagant, pretentious, improvident, dissipated, hypocritical, thriftless, unjust, dishonest, artificial, despotic, loud, blunt, generalizing. And this is the Joker. You know, the Fool is humble. So the 2-2 makes the heart. We've got the 2 Jupiters. Remember, they closed the Arc de Triomphe. They closed it for reparations during COVID, and it was originally meant to be an elephant. You've got the 4 legs of the elephant. It's got no head. That's Jupiter. He has a cape, not a cap. So again, that 2-2 with a reflection is also the 3-3, 33 vertebrae to make the true 8 gates. 888, 8 phases of the moon. The sun makes an analemma, and Venus is her 8-year cycle to make the 5-petaled flower, to find the 5th element, to go from 12 times 30, 4 seasons, to make 360 to the 5th season, 5 times 72. It can only be done within. And there the Paris Olympics is that Jupiter symbol. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come, warning sin no more. The city has no need of the sun or moon, for the glory of the God illuminates the city, and the Lamb is its light. The thalamus be the Lamb, Bethlehem. So here you can read that. That I've taken from the famous Santos Bonacci, one of his most beautiful pieces of work, when he brought this to us about the pineal and the pituitary and the Father Christmas claustrum, and this image of the Nile, the Jordan. So they're now closing where I live, the last 13 kilometers, that famous motorway between Gimont, the G-spot, and the we've got a place called Jourdain, the island of Jordan, and they're making that closure right on the motorway. And the motorway is it's not the A69. They've got 2 big motorway things going on. It's the 124. There is a Santa Claus. It is a physiological fact, and it does secrete the most holy and wonderful gift or substance in the body of every individual. Those who understand it, who receive it in the right spirit, have become as little children. As above, so below. I was reading The Naked Emperor to my grandchildren today on Zoom, as I do. And it is only the little child that is not afraid to be outside of the herd, to look stupid and to speak up. As in the macrocosm, the universe, so in the microcosm, man. So you read that. And again, the 4 elements, cardinal signs. So Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. When we merge peace, war, and expansion and contraction, Jupiter is tin, and tin is this connection with the moon and water. Cat on a hot tin roof. So there she is, Angelina Jolie, and this is where she's wearing gold. We've got WWMM, Milky Way, and we've got this foxy You know, this is Aries, Ra, Mars, and he's got the old Capricorn, and we've got the Taurus, the Queen of Egypt energy, the two sides of the moon, him in the middle. So the solar woman, I translated this about, again, this famous book, La Femme Solaire. This book is all about, normally we should explain to people the phases of the moon within the female, but they call it the woman of the sun, the solar woman, the end of the world of sexes. So the solar woman is a fundamental work which shows how the woman, the man and the couple had the possibility of evolving during the ages and how they evolved during a lifetime. Knowing this veritable map of behaviors makes it possible not to replay the models of the past and suffering, and to find the keys to an initiatory. From the representation of the mother goddess to the fighter woman of the 90s, passing through the woman subjected to patriarchal power. So she's called Paul, masculine name, Paul, 9th house, 90s, and instead of Solomon, Salomon, and Salamandra is the fire alchemical lizards, which we see in Picnic at Hanging Rock, and we saw for the coronation in the sky in that picture I showed you from last time. We had the cross right on that salaman. So you can read that, but you know, this is all part of the golden age, but at the same time I understand why they're taking us through this journey for people to eventually get this merging, for women to find their masculine sun and for men to accept their feminine moon. So yeah, there was no way I was going to do this quickly, but please go and see my articles because you can work it out yourself. This came out, we've got the moon, we've got the butterfly, the white butterfly, and we've got this budding Dauphin, Sun King, Leo, and this lily energy, the sun and the moon. I've never known a spring so fertile and blooming. This is saying that there are no more insects, and on the contrary, I see this. I've got so many butterflies, I've got so many wild flowers in my fields, just wild flowers I've never seen before. So this is about the papillon effect, the butterfly effect, the metamorphosis, and so that is the butterfly effect, quantum mechanics. So this was talking before I knew about, we had Leo, and they had this thing, the 50 years of the Bondas, which I spoke about in the last. And then there's the band around him, the mummy, the bandage, the bondage, bonds. So you go and see all that to join all this. And then there was all the bandas, the Mexican hats. And there was that turkey, very much this birthing passage, and remember all the breasts of Venus, look, Huntington, Nicolas Boulay. So Madeleine McCann, Tintin, Can would have turned 20 years old. Alongside a 4-minute video, of course, it's always the 4. And I showed you that axis is shown here with the Grim Reaper and the 77, the 2 corners. And this passage, the beef eaters. English people are known as roast beef. So 69, the Turkish president, and he's been in state for 20 years. And here, yeah, you're going to see it here. That's Venus, the 2 contrasts of the 2 corners of the coin, the coin, 77. Venus. So very interesting. I think it's in here. Midnight Express. You go and see my old videos on this about, and you've got the breast and the screen, and it's the Midnight Express is the Nile line. So that was a Da Vinci glow. How to see the Da Vinci glow illuminate the crescent moon this week. And there it is. How did Leonardo da Vinci find out what caused the glow? So again, Leo, Leo, Leo. You go and read all that. But I think that I've put here that there are 21 countries which have got moons on their flag. So look, that is the crescent moon on his head, the same as the blood moon, Midnight Express. It's all coming back. We're going through this, the keyhole, Chiron's last, the American Dream. So I put a link to the old video I did. Read all that, read it, because I don't have time to go over it all. That was from the film. That was watch Jupiter eclipsed by the moon for the last time until 2026. It was when it was May the 17th, Jupiter eclipsed by the moon. And that was all that film, Baron, the film I showed you with the Baron and the moon. It's all the same as the coronation. Friday, May the 19th, new moon. We've done that. Yeah, read all that. Je suis volcan. There's so much stuff I can't. And Bess, the fertility god, the same as the keeper of the four corners, the Persian Cirrus, taking that energy of Cancer. 69, the one who protects the birth of children. This is the guy I saw when I went to New Zealand in 2016 when my daughter was about to give birth. I had to rise up against him, Rumpelstiltskin. So yes, the Polar Express, North Polaris, released 2004, 2024, 24 Heures de Le Mans, Pluto in Capricorn. So this film, there we've got LGBT hanging on the telephone, holding the moon, holding the fertility, Uranus and the snake. Pan, that this is his idea of the four corners in this passage, the galactic center. Here's Harry, Harry man on all fours. He's not standing up straight. Then this is, I showed you, Liberty and Glory. He fell off his horse and was dubbed Aquaman, Tom Crisp. There he is. It was completely fake. I showed you in a video. And then we've got Hank 66 for this film, The Polar Express. So I can't remember what I was going on about, but I would have gone into it all here in Ancient Celtic. Yeah, it's all about explaining the North Polaris. Every night of the year, Polaris can be observed through a hole in the Georgia Guidestones, GG. They fell down. So he's showing us the axis of this gap, galactic gap of Ophiuchus there. And then it's so big about this water. So when I came back from New Zealand, the very first blog post I did, I hadn't done any blog posts since 2021. So the very first one I did, I was going deeply into the moon and all the water, the three waters in New Zealand and France taking up this hidden hand, the last phase of the moon. So Lord Gruffalo won the horse trials and Liberty and Glory fell. So they're rising this gruff, the wild ones, LG and BT, LGBT, British Telecom, LG, Liberty and Glory, The Good Life. So I explain all that there. Liberty and Glory, the Gruffalo, and this girl won RC, Cairo, Roz, red-headed young girl on this big horse, Lordship Gruffalo. So there's the water. He won CR1, the entry, NN tree, Rover's Return. You have to go over the Louvre. The mother wolf is Le Louvre. And there we've got upside down, this passage we have to get through. Lord of the Rings in French, Seigneur des Anneaux, which is also sheep, a play on sheep, but also of the waters, ruling the waters. So it's not in this one. There he is with his umbrella. Jacques Cousteau, water. So I think we saw this last time. I think this one goes as far back as the last video, that famous connection between the orbit of Chiron that joins us from Saturn to our conscious mind, and Neptune on the other side. To get past the last visible planet, you need to have gone through this healing journey of this 13th sign. Okay, this is an important, well, they all are. I put so much energy and time in all these articles. I think this one is the one that shows, again, the sun and the moon, the lamb, this. So we had the winners, this yellow and black taxi, fleur de lis. This was all before I knew about what was going on in Cannes. So this fleur de lis, Vanessa Paradis, the wife, the canary in our brain, and the moon goddess being made into the solar flame, the femme solaire. And I think that this, remember, Mexico is the whale's tail. 7-6, that was the works on the Arc de Triomphe, the elephant, the hierophant, the barber. And there we've got, between the 7th and the 16th arrondissement, the hats that we see in The Little Prince, which is in fact a snake. And I think that here there's Chiron. Yeah, Andrew, so he's been rejected. It's the end of that mutable cross. Andrew, it should go straight up the meridian in England. That cross, he's going to be hung upside down. We've got to get through this Lion Leo gateway on the white. Again, they've now got the lion in the middle of the Andrew's cross. Victor and Corona, this passage. Delia's gone. Right, so this is a song that Johnny Depp sings, which comes from Johnny Cash, Yellow and Black again. And this is all a connection. Look, we've got the Grim Reaper in this single of Johnny Cash that he used, Kate Moss. So he was married to Vanessa and Kate. And there we've got the Little Mermaid, Rosanna Arquette, the Deep Blue, the waters, the canary, the high priestess, to get past. So this was a clip from Jean de Barry's set. They had him singing this song, Delia, oh Delia. And there'll be things I was thinking about. There was probably something going on. So here again, the King's Chamber. This is the passage now, the arc. the High Priestess, the WWll corners, the two corners that we saw of the Grim Reaper coming through. This is the tarot card, the world, the difference between the tarot, the world, and the High Priestess. There, we've got the pineal gland again. And she went into, in this video, I've got all the pictures. So again, that 20 francs, Magdalene missing 20 years, the world. So this is the story, Islam, astrotheology, Virgo symbolism. Nothing in religion is literal. It's all an allegory and symbolic. No prophet of good God would marry a 6-year-old. The story is not literal, but a metaphor. You have people actually defending it because they think it's a real story when they know in their hearts it's wrong. It's symbolic of the sun being in the zodiac sign of the Virgo Virgin. Well, actually, sixth sign, who in this case is Aisha, who is 6 years old. Also makes sense. Don't forget, 6 years is Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Those are the twins, 7-7, the two twin-year-old twin boys, 7-7. Also makes sense that Muhammad is the son, as he is also known as Rasul, Rasulullah, Ra, Sol of Allah. Rasul in Norse means red-haired, just like the prophet and the rays of the sun. So you can read that there. Vulcan is within the orbit of Mercury. I've taken this from my lovely friend Renee, who's doing so well in her astrology and tarot. And she has been looking in, and I've got links in all my articles of Vulcan's association with Mercury. You can read that. And there we had Vesta, Mercury, and Vulcan, and Macron. Vesta's glimpse. This is from Renee as well. And then Celine Dion is dying at the moment. Céline Audin. Yep. Okay, so this is again about, you know, they really are bringing in the artificial womb right now, whilst everyone is distracted. World's first artificial womb facility to grow 30,000 babies a year in birth pods. It's here. This is about record speeds. This is that gap, the galactic gap, Sagittarius, right there. This is where we become centered between the two sides of the coin. We merge those two sides of the High Priestess, the Marie Antoinette and the Jeanne de Barry, the mistress. Barry is a play on barium, B-A. Sagittarius is the Mad Hatter's Teapot Party. Of course, Johnny Depp played the Mad Hatter. We're in the year of the rabbit. Next year is the snake, that 10-6, Capricorn and Virgo. It's got the Mad Hat, Miss Havisham showing that Medusa, the Holy Grail, the Hourglass, the Chalice, the Charles CH of Alice, Well of Scorpio, and Prince Charles with the 3 feminine of the moon, the spider, the cat, and the toad. And this is where the full moon is on the 6-4. He's got the jester cap up here, the jester, the joker. And you've got to merge the 3 stages of the triple goddesses, the earth and water, to make that High Priestess chalice. That's Glastonbury, at Tor. The medulla oblongata, or simply medulla, is a long-stemmed like structure which makes up the lower part of the brain stream. It's that canary. The Manda Fatima is that third eye in this Medusa, which I've always spoken about as the diaphragm, but it's in the heads. It's in the heads. It's in the heads. Right. So again, I haven't found what I'm looking for. Must be here when Mickey Mouse grows up to be a cow. So what's this all about? That was for last week when Jupiter was moving. Mercury we had in fire. Mars, the ruler of Aries, is in Cancer. Moon 69 conjunct your Uranus. That gets ready to move into Taurus next year for the Paris 7 Olympics. So this was the, then let you read this. Then life on Mars begins because she is no Me Too bully. She's a stable, conservative, practical, down to earth, and she loves nature and peace and being that reliable mother in love with the sensual side of life, discovering the five senses. When she breaks through her material girl needs, she becomes the black magic woman. Pluto, yeah, you can read that. And there is that lovely torso field. That was the new moon that we had. We've covered that on Alpha Omega, and now we're going to have the full moon on the Aleph Tav closure, where Taurus and Aries should close, and we're going to have this strawberry moon on Antares and the sun on Aldebaran. So that was all Medusa. And here we've got the Italian flag, but also the Irish colours, the green and that merging of white and red. We've got Scorpio, white, and we've got red, Libra, or that can be a number of different, but we've got the double four-wheel drive, these white, and they're in black, and two little children driving the car, bringing up the children, bringing up this Mercury energy of the children, the Hitler Youth. It's so big now in France, these boot camps. When I was in New Zealand, all the children do these boot camp. It's all very, but it's all part of the process. Milky Bar, Kid, La Vache qui rit, the Black Madonna, cow jumped over the moon, and the eyes on the horizon to make this ring, the Lord of the Rings, this passage of the High Priestess. So is it going to be here? I think it will be in here. Rocky Horror, I'm going to make you a man. True, 4 phases. Okay. FTM, it's red, and the moon again, always the same thing. The dark side of Venus, bringing up Mars with the moon. And there you've got that pregnant mother in the middle, the bull. So is it going to be here? The 3 sisters. Yes, it's here. There are 21 country flags that feature the moon. So that's giving us that 777, 111, 7721. You need 4, 1111 to make the 28 phases. So very interesting that there are 21 countries. And this merging of Jupiter and Europe, so Jupiter, Europe and America, and we're going to have this merging here between Russia and Canada, which is where the fires were opened. So you can go and see that article's very much about this moon again, the moon, this famous French film Dans la Lune, and there was a lot about that film that I put in there. You've got the 3 triple goddesses there. So what was I, Georges Méliès, It was a Billy brass band. Yep. So I was all picking up on this cycle, which Tina Turner has gone on. This is the flag of my village. 3 phases of the moon and the lion. And Kate and Willie came to the chateau next to me, I tell you always, to open the lion gates in 2016, which is his birthday. He's born on the 21st of the 6th, the summer solstice, and he came to open the lion gates in Auch. We've got the lion on the blue, and we've got the white with the red. So this is, you know, and at the moment we've got 2 weeks of all the region's firemen training where I live for 2 weeks every day. So I've always said, are they going to light my gas pipes, or what are they going to do? So you can go through that article, which has got a lot. There is that film that I've covered, and she's now playing in Paris the role of the mother, from the child to the mother. Vanessa Paradis in the famous French film Peau de Anne, with Catherine Deneuve, who is the whole festival of Cannes this year is in her honor. She is the face. She is the whatever it's called, the Marianne, the godmother of this 76 Cannes festival. So they're telling us the skin of the donkey. Yeah, that is that motorway between the pillars. Got the high goddess. She's got her 2 corners, the coin. This passage we're going through in Odyssey 2001. There is Api, the fertility god, the bull god. And that is Aldebaran, where we've got now this red strawberry moon, full moon, sun on Taurus, moon in Scorpio. It's exactly this. Marie Antoinette. Okay. So Johnny Hallyday, Depp, Allumez les Feux. 76 is 13. 7 and 6 is 13. The Serpent Bearer. So 7th seal, when the Lamb broke the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And 6th seal, end of time. Cannes. And he was, of course, the Pirates of the Caribbean star Johnny Depp. It's exactly what we've got. Jupiter and Mercury, skull and bone cross in Aries, the Pirates. It's very much the opening, if you don't have that gypsy blood, pirate blood. Johnny is born in Ken's Turkey, where X marks the great 2017-2024. He's spot St. Louisville, JB the Pillars. You've got this now, look. So the Black Moon, this was before I even knew, you know, that on this day, the Killers of the Flower Moon won. So my one, courtesan, Scorpio, snake killed as Ophiuchus kills the Milky Way. In Greek mythology, Ophiuchus was said to depict the god Apollo wrestling the snake, guarding the temple of the goddess Gaia at Delphi. Milky Way is how the new axis is made. When Apollo killed the snake, it became his temple, and that's when he bestowed the Pythia oracle as a medium to convey his prophecies. Is sent to the guillotine decades later. During the reign of terror in the French Revolution, Jeanne was imprisoned over accusations. She was executed by guillotine on the 8th of December 1793. So, and her body was buried at Madeleine, in the Madeleine. So, what was I seeing? Terry Martin, 76. Yep, they were saying that the shoes, the red slippers, had been stolen by somebody called Terry. I'm not sure what Terry Martin's got to do with it, but it's the Martin again. On Tuesday, federal prosecutors charged Minnesota man Terry, 76, with theft of major artwork. So he's stealing the red slippers, the shoes, Pisces is the feet of Dorothy, JG is Jour J, D-Day. So 7-minute standing ovation for Jean de Barry, the one eye. Seventh seal, 7 Salams. That was the first 2017 eclipse, and now we've got the 2024 one coming up. PB, LEDs. So this woman turned up in blue at Cannes. So we've got Vega, all the vegan, we've got Vega, Suzanne Vega sung Luca, the little boy, the red and blue, Mercury, Father, Mother, Pater, Mater, and Barium, Jean de Barry, Baba, Black Sheep, Have You Any Wool, Madeleine, Len, Wool, Silence of the Lamb, of the Thalamus. So Pluto is now in Capricorn as in 1776. So these are all the people buried in the Madeleine. The number 13. Barium is 56, those 56 years from 1968 to the 2023 Rosemary's Babies, and the price is that 5.5 per kilo. Again, the 5.5. Yeah, it's all self-explanatory. Upside down crown, coiled snake, and the fez, the cap. So here's Johnny's charts, and he had exactly where we had the black moon. He's got Mercury and Venus on AlgOL. He is a Taurus, not a Gemini. He's got Jupiter in Pisces, like Tina Turner. And he's got on Regulus the Sun King, Mars and Uranus, and he's got this difficulty into coming into his Chiron, to getting rid of, you know, wanting to have all the eyes on him, the attention, and not caring, ready to be the exile, Aquarius. Moon in Sagittarius. This is where he's born, in Owensboro, right next to Louisville, where this new axis is crossing over. Indiana, Hal, Johnny Halliday, Mars on Aldebaran, for the Queen's death, for the falling of Notre Dame, for the Weinstein, for the flooding I lived in New Zealand, for the death of my dog, Mars on Aldebaran, Instagram, Red Bull, Raging Bull, again the same director who's just won. Martin used Robert De Niro for all those films. Okay. Elizabeth 007, AlgOL, The Demon Star, The Passage, and I've got to finish quickly with this film. It's not even in here. Did I add it in here? So there we've got the Salaman. That was for the 5/6 coronation. Again, showing us that axis. And this motorway, which is on the front papers, the 69. The links, the Liberty Pole, Saint Martin. I told you last time, here we've got the sun being taken by the deer, made into a stag, and the moon taking this red energy. So this is really Mars and Jupiter, and they create Pan, the fertility god. Saint Martin de Tours, who killed Saint Saturnin. There he is, killing the Scorpio. It's my one, Jean de Barry. Johnny Allumer le Feu, which is exactly what's happened in Canada. Here we go. Alberta, Canada wildfires. Canadian wildfire smoke, world on fire. And then the next article goes more into it, because then we've got all the Elizabeth born, George, Buffalo Bill, Bugsy Malone. Jubalac is the river where I live here. And you've got, it's called something Mars going through. Instead of the priestess, that maman again, pour Dan, Manon de source, man on the water, man on de source. Okay, the Mars Els, Mars Venus. Remember Tesla. We've got the guillotine. We've got this big frame, the Dorian in Saudi Arabia, the four corners, the Tesla. And this girl who is exactly, so the book is 396 days in captivity, the Austrian girl, just like Marie Antoinette, Austrian, and that is, in my opinion, the same actress. So Pont d'Alma, the sacrificial sites. You've got it's Diana's. So Diana, Princess of Wales. So this can also be the four corners. The four corners. Former Regulus, Antares, Aldebaran, making that diamond of the fixed cross. And there is in Jola Taxi showing us where she would be sacrificed, and she's got stag written, or she's got bone, os, stag, bones, skull and bones, the saxophone player. It's always this. It's a shame we can't read the numbers, so we see just to the 13th pillar. Os, stag, 26 is 1313, the MM, the taxi. Yellow black, the B, Robert De Niro, taxi driver, Jola Taxi, Vanessa Paradis. Okay, we covered all that. Showing us this meter, 39, taxi meter. MJ, Michael Jackson in Aries, yellow fire, making this Taurus moon goddess, masculine with the yellow. Showed you that before. Okay. It's all very repetitive because, okay, at last, Killers of the Flower Moon. So here we are, we've got Europe joining with Alaska, North America, air. And this is where I'm just realizing about this film. So that was the flower moon that we had on the 5th, the 5-5 with the eclipse, first lunar eclipse. I just like that picture of the lily of the girl. So there again, the Cairo flower full moon in Libra, and the sun That's Venus right on the wand of Merlin, giving that energy of Venus to Merlin. And we had Mars on Pollux, Saturn at home. There is the eclipse, the flower moon, killers of the flower moon, the Westminster ninth door now, Pierre, Paul et Jacques, the gangsters are in, and you need to speak the Sultans of Swing lingo to be on the same level. This is the sword in the stone to the European empires. Jupiter prepares his new West-Eastern empire. By exposing the Western Empire sins, the Wild West becomes life on Mars and the new EU is formed. Mars Moon Revenge is on North America's back, for Mickey Mouse grew up a cow. And we knows what happens to cows. Mars, ruler of Scorpio, Lily, the life-death portal is removed, and the green flower power of the indigenous tribes of Fukius arisen through the northeast gates to conquer the west. 9-minute ovation is ninth door Pete, crucified, and Paul births Polo, the flower power rain, all part of the process of how we are alchemically herded. So that's about that flower moon. There's Leo and Lily. It's about Scorpio and Ophiuchus again. And here we go. We've got the fires. Canada, Alberta announces state of emergency over wildfires and smoke from Canada's wildfires. I did a whole blog just on this 5-5, on this new motorway, this connection that they want to make between Russia and Alaska. Raw. So we've got here, as a young man, very much like in this film, he goes to see Great Bear, just like in the film Martin Scorsese was guided by Big Bear himself, the Polaris. And there we have a barbecue party on the great shores of the Slave Lake in the Northwest Territories. Prince Charles talks with Chief Joe Saddle Bay in 1970. So the whole family was there, and there he is talking with the chief, and I'm not sure if this is, and his son, and Charles, and then, you know, Cannes is the feather as well. Scorsese and De Niro reunite at Cannes for Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro have reunited. So Robert De Niro is 79 years old too, 76, also I think he's 79. We haven't been here together since 76. This is all making 13. Recalling the premiere of Taxi Driver, the second of their 10 collaborations, which won the festival's top prize, the Palme d'Or. Again, I put that. So this is them at the big. So they had a bashing of Trump. Again, this full-on bullying like we see of Harry. It's just open bullying, and, you know, really, we've got Big Bear there. We've got Big Bear. We've got Big Bear. So Cairo, Russia, 55 kilometers. Say 10 between Russia, Alaska, Charles Rex, Canada, Russia, the Cairo, the Bering Straits, and there's the two popes dressed up, Buffalo Bill, and I think that we've covered everything now. Here is this axis between Sirius and Altair, and bringing up Ophiuchus, killing the snake, the Milky Way. It's talking about, that's a good little, oh yeah, this was a friend from Facebook, and it was exactly what I was writing here, and he put that beautifully. So I added it and put his name here. I do think that's funny on the telephone. So the moon and the snake of the fertility taking the lunar energy. So we're going to end now, and this is the newsletter that I sent out, and in the newsletter we have a rundown of this video I'm going to be doing with Lars. So we're looking for another person, because I've actually said to a friend of mine who will ask very pertinent questions to join us. So we're looking for one more person who really knows Lars' work and who will be able to join us and ask those right questions. So we are going to, Lars and I will be doing a long-awaited video next week. Lars has some very insightful new work to share with us, so you can fully grasp where we are on the map, the new cross, and a deeper perception into how Stellarium works, to grasp the bigger picture for the show from above. So Lars wrote this. Welcome, Victoria. I'm going to really try, this is about Lars, it's not about me. This is Lars's presentation. The signs mirrored down on Earth with pictures and stellarium questions. The 3 significant signs as the paths over from one cross to another. Stellarium questions. And so we're going to have all his pictures. The DNA dance seen from the cradle. The birth sequence when a savior is born with Stellaria. Sum up. Last questions. Goodbye. So, and this is an example of the type of newsletters I'm doing every week now. Okay, my darlings, I hope that wasn't too long, but I've basically just gone through the main things happening, and I love you very much, and subscribe on my site if you haven't done so already to get these newsletters. All my love. Bye for now.